Well, what's going on, everybody? Welcome to the conversation with Detir, where we talk about life and how your mindset affects it all. Let's get to it. So, y'all, let me see if I can show y'all this. Cause it's getting real out here, man. It's getting real out here. Can y'all see that from that angle? Boom. Let's see. Y'all see what that's? Look at that. Negative 16. It's cold. Oh, it's cold outside. Yep, it's cold. And I'm not trying to be out there. um. Anyway, y'all. So today's conversation is going to be about. I want to use the analogy weeds and roses. And the reason why I come on here, y'all, is to try to give perspective and mindset and allow people to think and figure out what they have going on in their life. Are they actually producing? Are they actually on the right path, on the right track to try to accomplish the things they want to accomplish? I want to give you food for thought. I want us to start thinking about things, especially people who want to be in different places and positions in your life. Like, what do you have going on? Why are these things going on in your life? So I look at these things and analogies, and I'm using the analogy today of weeds and roses. People know when you see weeds, it's something that's not pretty, something that you do not want, something you want to get rid of. So you have to pluck these things out of your life. Some things, some people, some mindsets, ideologies are weeds in your life, and they have been weeds. We heard growing up the analogy of you reap what you sow. So sometimes you go into a situation thinking that you're sowing good seeds, but based off of what it produces, it will allow you to know if it's good or not, based off of what you reap. So it's some things you have going on in your life as a person, as a character, and you've been planting these things in your life and you haven't got the results. So it's like, why are you still living from this same perspective, mindset, or ideology if it's not working, if you're not getting the results? Now, if you are producing, then these would be considered roses. Some parts of yourself needs to be plucked out because it's not producing, it's not working, and something needs to be changed. Some people that's in your life are weeds in your life. They're not roses. And another aspect to that too is also being able to identify what is a weed and what is a rose. Because you can go into a wolf in sheep's clothing. So some things look like roses that are actually weeds, and some things that look like weeds are actually roses. So these things can get tricky when it comes to figuring out what is what. What does this look like based off of what it is, based off of what it's producing, and how do I determine the difference between weeds and roses? And I feel like anything you do, it has to start with yourself. Because if you can't identify this within yourself, there's no reason why a person should be looking outside of themselves trying to identify someone else who is a weed or a rose when you don't even know that about yourself, about your own personality, your own character, your own mindset. So I wanted to come with this conversational piece, hoping that it might relate to someone about plucking things out of your life. And you have to do your due diligence when it comes to your mindset and your character, when it comes to identifying these things. I think it's so important for a person to understand that when you're making decisions in your life, it has to be sound. It can't be off of a feeling. It has to be off of fact, something that is substantial, something that is solid. So when it comes to friends, when it comes to relationships, sometimes people do not appreciate a person that's a rose in your life. And when you think about even the things that you are doing on your day to day basis, say a person who actually plants, there's a time to water something, right? When it comes to planting, it's a time to give it sunlight. And if you don't know what something takes, then even if you have a rose or a flower, weeds and flowers, that you can do more harm than good to something. Because one is not it's the level of not knowing how to properly cultivate it, but also you haven't even identified what it really is, and you haven't given it its just due. Everything is done different in certain seasons as well, in certain times. I'm gonna use grass as a plant as well. Is that there are certain times to water your grass, right? And if you water your grass at the wrong time, when the sun is at the highest point and beaming on your grass, you're actually burning your grass and not watering your grass. And even when it comes to cultivating that same grass, These are the seeds I'm talking about that's in your life as far as what you have put into your mindset based off of your thoughts. Because as a man thinketh, so is he. So this goes into if something is a weed, which is your mindset, your thought process, your energy, what you're thinking about, your emotions, your habits, what you practice, because all this is a part of cultivating something. So when it comes to you watering your grass, when it comes to fertilizing your grass, a person might think I'm trying to fertilize my grass, so I'm going to fertilize this grass every couple of days, not knowing that this fertilizer is very potent and strong. You're supposed to fertilize it every 3 weeks. So you could be doing more harm than good when you don't understand what you have and actually how to build it. So I think these analogies are very good for a person to be able to try to figure out what works for you when it comes to your perspective on what you're connecting with yourself and other people. I go into partnership, companionship, when you have a rose or a flower in your life versus having a weed that's in your life as a person who you chose to connect to and connect with. It's going to be based off of what they're producing when a person is who they are as far as their foundation, right? I know that we are supposed to be able to build and grow with each other, but each person has to have a certain level of foundation. It doesn't matter how great of a seed you have if you plant it in bad soil. This is the foundation of who a person is. So you can't teach me to be a good man or a man of consideration, kindness, respect, integrity, honor, faithfulness, whatever it is, because you have to understand what am I living by, because these are my morals, these are my principles. This stuff goes back to the roots of who I am. So based off of what I'm producing will allow you to see who I am, what I stand for as a person, as a man, if you choose to make the connection with me or anybody you choose to connect with. And this is on a friendship level, this is on a business level, this is on a romantic level, intimacy level, whatever it is. But it always go back to you as an individual person. I feel like that we have to do the work as people to figure out who we are, what we want, and what we're doing. And you have to figure out how is something working for you when it comes to who you say that you are based off of what you're doing. So always start with the like plucking the weeds out of your life. But you have to put that mirror on yourself. Sit that mirror up and look at yourself and ask yourself questions about what you have going on and understanding, are you producing? And if you was to connect with someone else as friends, are you producing around your friends? And I'm a strong proponent about people being around each other and not being able to tell other people that you see their weeds. You know, like you have a lot of weeds in your life, and people look at these things as judgments as far as having people that's in your life that's holding you accountable. We don't want to be accountable for the things we have going on in our life. We want everybody to see our flowers. We want everybody to give us flowers. But it's like, you know, I can't get past all the weeds. You know, it's like you have a lot of stuff going on. And I think it would do us so much more justice if we had more people and if we was allowing people to not judge us, but people who were sound in how they are and the things that they're doing as far as they habits, to be able to point out to you that, hey, man, you got a lot of weeds growing up, you know, where there used to be flowers. Because we are changing. Things do change. You have to constantly turn over, you know, a new leaf as far as developing yourself and growing and building. So anyway, y'all, I hope that was insightful, informative for you. Hope the analogy made sense when it comes to something that is good versus something that is bad, a weed versus a flower, something that is producing. I hope it made sense when it came to cultivating. It's like, what are you doing when it comes to building something that is good? And are you taking the necessary steps to get rid of the things that are not good? And I wanted you to look at these things in different areas of your life, because some people are producing in certain areas and other areas is not as much. So don't get focused on, appreciate what you have that is working, but don't neglect the things that aren't working. You know, if you have a partner that you are with, a wife, a husband, a boyfriend, a girlfriend, whatever you are, ask each other, you know, about how you see each other, because this is the person that you're with, you know, and see if you are properly cultivating your situation, and see if you have become more of a weed to them, more of a flower. Anyway, y'all, that's been my time. It's one love from me to you. Remember that it's progress, not perfection. You rest in the end, not the middle. If you're in Colorado, man, stay in the house. It is cold outside. Till next time. Later.